Welcome to Sip, Sell, Repeat, the real estate podcast for women who know success is best served with a great cup of coffee or a well-earned glass of wine. I'm Dr. Cynthia Tant, your go-to real estate expert, here to help you navigate the market with strategy, style, and a little bit of fun. Whether you're flipping your first property, scaling your portfolio, or just dreaming about your next big move, this is the place for you. So grab your drink of choice, settle in, and let's sip, sell, and repeat our way to success. Let's get started. Hello, this is Cynthia Tant from Sip, Sell, Repeat, and I have the honor of meeting Lisa. And she told me Parenteau, say that again, your name?
Parenteau.
And I apologize. She actually told me that, and I completely forgot it. It's been a week in Hawaii. I'm still on jet lag right now. And so I hope she accepts my apology for saying it.
Of course.
Let me tell you a little bit about Lisa. And it was Sip, Sell, Repeat. We're here. We're just going to share some information about real estate, women helping women in real estate, and not the part of the, I guess you call the technology part of it or anything like that, but just how we have gone through our careers and where we're at right now and how we like to help other people. And so Lisa, she actually is an accomplished luxury realtor in the beautiful Cape Cod area. And over 15 years, I think we have of experience, become renowned for her exceptional knowledge of the local market and her ability to connect with clients and her commitment in providing unparalleled service. Now, in addition to her being a top producer in the waterfront luxury real estate, you're very involved in the industry leadership as an association volunteer in local, state, and national level. Love to talk to you about that one. And as well as her brokerage, which is EXP Realty. So her dedication to advancing the real estate profession and serving the needs of her fellow professionals has earned her a reputation as a respected and influential figure in the industry. That's a lot to live up to, Lisa. I tell you, I know the leadership part is crucial, I believe, in our profession. So I just want to start off with my picture behind me. This is Pensacola Beach. And you talk about luxury waterfront realty, but just generally, or I'm trying to figure out, why are you in this business? How does it help you? I know you have a podcast. We're going to talk about that later to let other people get involved too. But what got you in and why are you still here?
I actually started real estate in 1993. I sold for 5 years between 93 and 98. I always say this, I was preparing in a way to leave my first husband, and I worked for his accounting firm. His father owned a pretty good sized accounting firm. Today it's quite large, even larger. And I worked for the office for very many years, and I needed to find something that I could do outside of the home. And real estate always looks like it's so easy. You can do whatever you want to. One of those. And back then, in 93, at least in Massachusetts, we only had seller agents. There was like one buyer agent 4 towns over, and everyone gave him a fisheye. There was no such thing as buyer agency. We all represented the seller. We all lined up outside with our offers, and it was just a different world. We had the books, and we would every 2 weeks they came out, and we'd Xerox the papers and bring them to our clients. And interest rates were 14, 15%, and we thought it was fabulous. So it was a very different world, and I really loved it. I loved a lot about it. I really love the profession of real estate. I like realtors. I feel like in many ways, I have always walked into a room and gone, oh, here's my people. I don't know if everyone feels that way, but I've always felt that way. So at the time, I had a Mac back in the day, and I'd fool around with, I have part of my brain wants to do things like that, techie things. And so I started to fool around with website development. Back then, everything was flat, easy. It was a different world. And I created a website for my little local brokerage, JP Regan Real Estate. And then the Century 21 office in my town said, hey, can you do my website? And I started to get a little bit more involved with that piece of it. My career morphed then into technology sales, which I did for a very long time, and many other things. And then in 2015, I thought, you know what? Maybe I'll check out real estate again. And so now I've been back for 10 years in the market. In the meantime, I had done technology sales. I took a 10-year cup of coffee in massage therapy. There's a lot of I'm older than I look, I'll tell you that. Probably, most people say. Definitely well over the collecting Social Security age. I'll be 68 in January. I,
Oh, I'm older than you, so I got you.
there you go. So I think it's an interesting bookend. You know, what I do know about myself is that I'm a salesperson. I like to hear the bell ring. I'm very transaction oriented. I'm not a great farmer. I'm a really good hunter. And I've had to learn to supplement my team with folks who can do all of those other things.
Yep.
And then because of the way the market is, I think I have more time and willingness and patience to be more belly to belly farmery because a lot of my clients are elders. People come to Cape Cod to retire. And then there's a life event that usually brings them to needing to sell their home. And it's not volunteering to go move somewhere more fabulous, usually. But so a lot
Right.
of my clientele is older. I love working with elders. Of course, have my SRES, all of that, but so that definitely takes another skill set. It's not quite as transaction oriented. And as I'm also looking at the back nine and looking at like where can I serve to my highest good? It's definitely in that area where I can still sell and get a signature and hear a bell ring, but I can also really serve those elders in such a tender time. And so yeah, so that's where how I got
That's
here and where I am now.
That's a great service. You don't hear too many people that actually in that niche market. And of course, living in Florida, we have a lot of elders, not necessarily as many in the panhandle as down in South Florida, but they're here, obviously, and they're coming to retire. And we have a lot of military retire in this area too. But as you found working with them, and it seems like your passion comes out with what you're saying and working with them, are you finding because probably they haven't bought a home in a long period of time. So are you finding that it's going back to a first time home buyer and talking about what's going on? Or what are you finding when you're working with the older person who hasn't bought a house maybe in 30 years or something?
Well, I think you find that same thing with a lot of my clients in their mid 50s who come here going to retire here, right?
Mm,
One side of that coin, and then I'm looking at the 85-year-old on the other side of that coin. So it's that same
mhm.
kind of, and many of them haven't bought or sold many homes, right? That they have that big
Right.
primary
In their lives.
somewhere
Yep.
and they're coming down here to buy a smaller retirement place. So I think we've always been at our best a trusted advisor. And then with everything that's happened with the settlement, it's a whole new conversation to have with buyers and sellers. And not that much has changed other than there's some more of that conversation and there's more documentation
Hello?
in
Hello? Okay. You're freezing up on me.
okay, what seller agency means today.
So what do you want to tell the ladies that may be listening to us right now about that journey? Since we're both older, and is it still, I believe NAR's numbers are still the average real estate agent is what, a 55-year-old woman? I think that's what the national statistics came out to be. We have a lot of younger people now, I know, in the market, but I think as we've matured, what are those things that we can give some advice to maybe others? And from your standpoint, also from a leadership perspective of what you look into in the real estate profession.
So I guess that, yeah, I guess there would be two separate things. One is in terms of being in the profession today. Actually, it's going to be close to the same answer. I think it's super important to show up and plug in, no matter where you are in your career. Number one, it helps you to be as informed as you possibly can, especially as things are continuing to change. If you don't really trust your brokerage and your broker and you don't feel totally comfortable, you need to find one that you do. One of the reasons I stay where I am is because of the leadership. Leo Pareja, our current CEO, is like the real deal. He was struggling in the 06, 07, 08 timeframe, trying to put food on the table for his families. And he's been around in the trenches for a very long time and was brought back at a time when we really needed some very pragmatic, direct leadership. And he has been out front of every one of these issues. He's the first one that said, we're not doing buyer compensation. And the whole world fell apart. Yeah, that's exactly what happened, right? Like he has
Mhm.
continued to be very clear on what's happening. And so I say that only in that if you show up and plug in to your current brokerage, whatever that looks like, whether it's your office meeting, whether it's your state meeting, if you're virtual, like whatever that is, that I think has got to be a big piece of anyone's ongoing success because it's all about self-confidence. It is with luxury, and I think it is just being a really good realtor. If you're a little nervous about what's going on or how to serve that market or how to work with a high D luxury client, you're you're going to need to find a way to develop confidence around that. And there's lots of ways to do that, but showing up and plugging in and being connected is a really big step in that direction. So from a brokerage level, I would say that's really important. Take every possible course, class, update, webinar, workshop. That continues to lead to me to building your confidence and also meeting other people that are invested enough to show up to those things. Those webinars, we've got one on Title V systems. We have, I don't know if you're familiar with what a Title V system is, but it's the septic system in
Oh,
communities.
I
So,
know about septic. Yeah, down here. Yeah.
so we have a lot of changing regulations because we are an island and we're a blue economy, and that will not be a very exciting sexy webinar in 2 weeks, but I'm going to take it from 9 to 11 just
Yeah.
because I want to be able to know a little bit more, have a couple of more buzzwords, and meet some people during that class that are equally interested and the instructor so that I know who I can go to with my next question because legislation is changing here on the Cape in a very dramatic fashion. And I wouldn't know that unless I looked at the emails and opened them from my association, took a look at the what was coming up and was like, okay, I'll go. All right. It's not going to be that exciting, but 9 to 11 that morning, I looked at the calendar. Okay, I can do it. And so I did. And I've been around for a long time and selling real estate for a long time, and I still do that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm involved with Women's Council of Realtors. I was a president back in what, 2016. And just staying, I didn't go to all crazy associations. I stayed with one, support that and everything. But when you're thinking about leadership, because like you just were mentioning, leadership from the top, because you're at EXP, which is a larger broker. I am my own broker and I have a small brokerage and I like it like that. And, but I also have rental management from long-term and short-term. So wide versus deep. And I think that is my niche, whatever you want to say, of working with the investors and what do we want to do with people that are coming in town and want to have a beautiful place like was behind me, from the luxury second home like you have. We have very different weather, very different issues to deal with, especially with a storm getting ready to come up here, it appears, in the Gulf. And how have you found, because relationships are so important. I so agree with that. And leadership and helping each other. How have you found spreading that leadership expertise to other ladies that are younger that look up to us and want that information to get more involved in that, even if it's local, but it's really hard to get people involved more and then going up the ladder, whether it's a regional or first, whether it's a state or a regional and even national. How have you found to be able to talk to people about committing to leadership in the real estate profession?
Interesting that you bring that up. I'll tell you the check's in the mail. I just proposed a bit ago, I proposed a panel at EXPCon in Miami, which is in October, on your journey to leadership. And it's going to be a bunch of different people and all
Okay.
different kinds of leadership, not just association leadership, which is what what my main thing is. But
Mhm.
in order to kind of demystifies a lot of it, and also to really encourage people to consider getting involved that had not considered that. What I have found is true is that when you brand yourself, and I'm beautiful Cape Cod, and there's nobody anywhere that will say Cape Cod and they won't think of Lisa Parenteau because I that's in everything. It's written, it's my name on Zoom, it's like everything, right? And I started volunteering actually what usually is that tap on the shoulder. I had wanted to get involved with RPAC, the Realtor Political Action Committee, and I reached out. I was at an event here in Massachusetts, and a realtor who was also the treasurer for the state Democratic Committee was there, and I waltzed up this many years ago and said, Paul, I want to get involved. He said, I'm going to write a check. And I was like, what? And I didn't know where I was supposed to put the money, what I was supposed to do. I'm sure I put it on a credit card. It was many years ago. And that started my journey in not just advocacy, but also in having some leadership roles that I got invited into. Paul was going to be the next state president. And so he
Mm.
put me on a few committees, and they were like, who's that new girl? Because I wasn't new, but I was new to volunteering. This was in 15. It was probably that next year in 16. And he put me as an RPAC trustee, which is there's only one that the president can make as an appointee. All their others come from the association. And probably on government affairs, which is my jam. I just had both meetings today actually for MAR. And so it started my journey of really being involved in the association and leadership at the state level, not so much at the local level. I have been involved at the local level because I continue to be appointed as a representative of my local. I'm an NAR director. We only have one in my association from my local association. But when I was getting my feet wet at MAR, I knew some people who were involved at NAR, and I thought, okay, I'll just apply for that. And I didn't know what I was doing, and I did the application and asked a few people if they would give me recommendations. And I was put on a committee that first year, the Business Issues Policy Committee, which is wonky and it's a lot about RESPA and money laundering. And I can find anything interesting in real estate. I served on that
Yeah.
committee for 5 years. And
Yeah.
then,
Wow.
yeah, then
Okay.
I've served on the conference committee, which is really a fun one because they fly you to Chicago when you're on conference committee. It's like a
Oh,
special committee. And then I was on Resort and Second Home. And
oh,
this year, the
really?
NAR president is from Massachusetts. And I know him. He's a friend. And so he tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey, would you like to be vice chair of the Resort and Second Home Committee? So that was a year ago. So this year, I'm the national chair of Resort and Second Home, which is a
Oh,
big deal.
that's awesome.
You get the big
Yeah.
blue badge and you get,
Yeah.
kind of,
So
great.
it's NAR's in Houston this year, right?
It is.
The
It
big
is.
one is in
Yep.
Houston.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we may end up going over there.
Excellent. Oh, good. We can
It's been
meet
a while. Orlando, I think was the last one I went to. Was that
2 years
three or
ago.
4 years ago?
Yeah. So last year was
I,
Boston again. I always hate when it's in my backyard, but um,
yeah. Every time it comes to New Orleans, though, I go. It's
it's
like
going to
I'm
be in
going to
New
New
Orleans.
Orleans.
And it's going to be in New Orleans in 26.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Sweet. I don't know why they keep Houston and down the south. I wonder if I thought it had to go bouncing back and forth to different.
Whatever. I think everything got thrown upside down during the pandemic and
Yeah.
all of our contracts. I know they definitely changed in DC. We were in June this year. We're going even later next year in June. So things have continued to change for mid-year meetings. But I'm also super involved in advocacy. I was just admitted to the Hall of Fame this year for RPAC. So that's investing at a pretty high level and kind of a thing. So advocacy, understanding the power of our Realtor Political Action Committee in DC for everyone in the country. There's no homeowner association. There's no buyer association. There's no seller association. There's the National Association of Realtors. And we advocate for personal property and homeowner rights. And no one else really does in that way. We got a couple of really big wins in that bill, depending on how you feel about it. But there were some big wins in real estate. So we try to hold on to just that piece of it. In terms of SALT, that's going up from 10,000 to 40. There's some pretty significant
Yeah.
things
That's all. Yeah.
that were in there that we lobbied for very long and very hard. And then I also volunteer at EXP, right? So next to my name is like wife, mother, glamour, serial volunteer. Like seriously, that's in my bio everywhere. I just show up and plug in, and I have done that as well at EXP. I'm a luxury ambassador, one of the original luxury ambassadors, and I serve this year as the national chair of the Agent Advisory Council. So it
How do you, your calendar must look like a Christmas tree
it
with all the
does.
different
I have
colors
an
of the, so
assistant.
mine does too. It's, oh my gosh, that's how I relate to people. I go, look at my calendar. I have different colors for different things and I have to go, and then just sticking with it is the hard time,
Yeah,
the hard
I have an
situations.
assistant in the Philippines who I've had.
Yeah.
This will be 4 years in September, so
Oh, cool.
that's very
Yeah.
helpful. And like I was saying in the beginning, you learn how to develop a team around you that's good at the things that you're not good at. So I tried to do that as well. I have amazing support at EXP, and some of these roles, like the NAR chair role, I have a staff. I have a staff.
Yeah.
I have a staff at EXP for AAC. I mean, not that I'm
Mhm.
not doing work. I've created robust initiatives
Well,
and programs in both of these places. So I am, and thank you for Chat GPT. How do we work
yeah.
before that? in
All right.
terms of program development and linear thinking, because I'm not always as linear as I could be.
Yeah. I
So,
don't know how many realtors really are from my experience.
so I think it all goes back, as I said, there's kind of two answers, but one answer, and that is really showing up and plugging in, being present, being willing to contribute. Tony Robbins talks about the six human needs, and number six is contribution. So I think I work hard at that. But the
Well,
reason I bring it up is that it has fed my business. That
well,
was
that's what I was.
my intention.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's why I bring it up. It was never my intention. My intention is to serve and be helpful. But because everyone knows Lisa Parenteau is from Cape Cod, that has really fed my business.
Well, and that's why I try to myself too, is to get newer real estate agents not full speed ahead into they have to understand real estate first a little bit, but to take those courses, learn from those courses. Just one thing, if that come back, let's talk about it since I'm the broker, and then volunteer for a committee to get started. Now, don't volunteer for six because they already want you there once you take your, I don't know about your association, but ours
Oh,
is,
yeah.
oh, let's
When
they're
someone-
after that new person right
yeah,
away
yeah,
and staying active. And then if you do, I chose to go to Women's Council Realtors and go up, but I was asked to go further and I said, no, I didn't want to. As a broker and stuff, I just couldn't do it. But that what president-elect, past president 3-year period was very good for me from a standpoint of just making those
yep.
connections and
And
really
learning, and also
learning.
learning.
That's what
Yeah.
I say is
Yeah.
learning it, and things like just this past conference that I went to in Hawaii was for short-term rentals. Very high level individuals in that, and just like learning from each other and sharing what you know. So your knowledge that you have everything and sharing to other people, whether it's through EXP, that do you have a team with you
I do.
or you do? Okay. So since you're not the broker, because EXP is in
Correct.
the works, and
Correct.
then yes, all right. So and but you have a team.
I
So
have a team. I have a team because of revenue share. I
correct.
don't have the Lisa, I have something called the Lisa Parenteau team, but it's the revenue share team. So
I'm sharing.
yeah, I'm coach, mentor in those ways, create education events. I'm always there for a phone call. Oh my God, this is going on. What the heck should I do? That situation. But I don't have an internal team like that. No.
Okay. Okay. So the real estate market in Cape Cod, is it what's happening there? Because I don't know, ours down here is just ugh. Ours is a big thing because of our insurance. Our insurance rates are so high, and but I'm sure your property taxes are higher than ours. But what's been happening down there or up there? We know real estate is local, so what's happening up there is probably not anything. Maybe it is relative to what's happening here. But what are you seeing happening in your market?
So I've continued to see a settling out. We don't hit the highs or the lows because it's a small, rare, and beautiful place and you can't build. So the only way you're going to get a new build is if someone buys a house and knocks it down, which happens. We have a huge issue with workforce housing because there really are people that have their fourth or fifth home here that they go to for 3 weeks. And so there's been a lot of stuff done to try to see how we could repurpose some of that. Housing Assistance Corp, which is a nonprofit that's charged with all realms of working on housing for folks here, had a number of beta initiatives to contact some of those second homeowners, third homeowners to see if they'd be willing to rent their home during the winter as part of a program and be managed by Housing Assistance Corp. We have like huge bridge traffic now because many people who work here can't afford to live here. And I'm telling you,
Yeah,
that's teachers and firefighters as well.
yeah, yeah, I'm
So
sure.
that's an issue that you do see in many resort and second home communities that
Yes.
we can't directly impact, but we can be at least aware of it. So we have that issue. But in terms of the market has absolutely slowed down from where it was, but there's the only metrics we keep looking back on is 2020, 2021, the end of beginning of 2022 when it was crazier than I think anyone's ever acknowledged it ever was.
Yeah.
And sellers have short memories, and that's all they
Yeah.
know. My cousin said,
Yeah. Or that down the street, it so no, it didn't sell for that much. The misinformation, because I happening right now is a listing that I'm taking. It's no, it didn't sell for that. Who did you hear that? Bill said. I said, no, it didn't. Let's tell you what's going on. Now we're not limited as far as like you are on an island or anything like that, but we are also a vacation resort destination area.
Mhm.
And our beaches, it's very different because of our pricing for homes there versus in Pensacola is very different. Our local population can't afford those houses. So it's always the outside person coming in
Yeah.
to buy, whereas our local person's income, our bartenders, our wait staff, or that support all of this, teachers, like you said, firefighters, police officers. Now,
The HB2 visas, that's also been a
oh,
big issue here,
oh,
right? I don't know how
yeah,
it is there.
it's here.
The same concerns, workforce housing, insurance, not to the
The
extent that yours is, but we do, because insurance rates have gone sky high, and we're more looking at the HOA kinds of insurance where the master insurance
yeah.
is just was dropped out of like nowhere. And so that is an issue. I'm looking at this also from resort and second home nationally, right? So I talk to people across the country as the chair of that committee and meeting with those people monthly about these very same issues. And then the third is what you just went to Hawaii for, the STRs, right? So that is another issue combined with HOAs, because here we have a lot of HOAs that suddenly out of nowhere, Uncle John on the board has decided there's not going to be any more short-term rentals in our condo community. And everyone's, what do you mean? That's why I bought it. So we're
Yeah.
all struggling with a lot of those same issues for sure. And the prices are continuing. Actually, my assistant just gave me a script for the thing I'm going to video right after this for my monthly
Mhm.
update. And the mean price has continued to tickle down a little bit, not a lot. It's definitely
Kind of leveling out. Yeah.
absolutely. There isn't the same urgency on a buyer's part that there had been.
Yeah,
And
oh
that
gosh,
obviously is what drove the madness.
place went
Um,
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and there is in these markets, it always was. I have a seller that wants to sell and a buyer that wants to buy, but nobody has to do a damn thing. It's definitely back to that, right?
Yeah.
And when you do put a deal together, it's because I had this long list and just about every single thing was finally ticked off on it. And something under 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago. And again, it happened to fit every possible thing that they were looking for. And if it hadn't, they would have waited another 2 months, 2 years.
Yeah. They're sitting out. I mean, no, yeah, they're sitting out. Ours is more of a cost efficiency of anything under two. This is going to sound crazy for you, for your area, but anything under 250,000 here is selling like just like that, where you don't have 250,000.
We don't have any, no, we have
Yeah,
nothing.
I know there's a totally different market, but that $250,000 house was $150,000 house.
That's a
So
house,
oh yeah. Oh, nice houses, brand new houses. Yeah, no, yeah. And
250,000?
yeah, no, seriously, yeah. We were just looking for
No
some. I'm
kidding. You
getting
can
ready
probably
to
get a
list.
cabana for that at one of the condo
Oh,
complexes.
I know that was like in Hawaii. That was the same thing. They're saying you got a waterfront beach house for
Oh, it's not
1.8
as high
million.
as Hawaii here. Our mean, I
Yeah.
think, was just seven something. No, it's funny. I just had two referral clients, and both of them were going to be in like the mid sixes to eight. And
Mhm.
the agents that refer them were like, "You probably aren't even going to take this." I'm like, "Oh, no, I'll decide later if I'm going to refer it." Going,
Yeah.
and I thought they're not going to be able to have any. But when I did a search, there was stuff in the
Yeah.
sixes. I was surprised. And none of it's going to be glorious, but there was more than I thought actually when I set up a search from 650 to 800, just three bedroom. I don't do baths or anything, but we
Yeah.
are really tied to bedrooms because we have all septic systems. So you cannot have more
Oh,
bedrooms.
yeah. Because you're on the island. Yeah.
Whatever is
Well, and see,
advertised for is the
that
end.
kind of relates to that short-term rental perspective too. We've been Verbo or VRBO or whatever you want to say, it's been around on our beach for 30 years, however long it's been in existence. It's just that when Airbnb came along and rose the awareness, I said, we've been renting on the beach for years. It was just a different personal, like local property management companies, and then obviously all the big guns came in. And but it's interesting on how that market and how, like you said, the HOAs and all of a sudden they're just making this decision where from a condo perspective, obviously, or even homes and subdivisions too, is if they allow the short-term rentals and then they change it and someone's invested all this money and they go, well, now what do
Absolutely.
I do?
Absolutely.
So from that stand, are there any questions that you'd like to get out and share with somebody who might be listening to this from the real estate perspective, from your perspective on your experience in the industry? What else can you share with us, Lisa?
I guess I would say again back to make sure that you are philosophically aligned with your broker. Make sure that you really know who your broker is, what they stand for, where they fall in, at least for me, my beliefs, where they fall within being a Realtor member, which is a member of the National Association of Realtors. Very important, obviously, to me for a variety of reasons, but I believe in it. Absolutely. And then to continue to, and the other piece about showing up to all of those trainings and all of that is that you meet other people who are your tribe, that you can continue to connect with because a rising tide absolutely lifts all boats. And the better educated that we all are, the more prepared we are to serve our clients, the better our profession is. And we handle like the largest financial transaction of people's lives. It's big stuff. And in some states, like my own, if you can fog a mirror, you could sell real estate. It's a
I know.
40-hour course on a weekend, right? Literally.
It's yeah, it's here too. I
Horrifying.
agree with it.
Oh, Florida's
Well,
hard.
and it's yeah, we have pretty good, but still, it's still out there. Get the bad and you, ugh. But what I was going to say about, like you say, you meet people and all that. So here I am in Hawaii, and one of the short-term rental guys he's putting on the show at the bar afterwards, food and all kind of stuff. And so I walk up to the other bar and I look at this gal and I go, God, do I know you? And she goes, Cindy. And I went, oh man, I can't remember her name. I'm so bad at this. And she goes, we studied together for our PhDs.
Oh,
I have a
wow.
PhD. And so we studied in the 80s. That was my first career as a college professor. And so we just looked at each other and go, we're in Hawaii. I live in Florida. She lives in New York. And we're just looking at each other. This is crazy. And I sat there and talking. And so I
Nice.
do travel a lot. I'm fortunate to do that and meeting people all around the place and sharing with them. I'm not sure. I know I had a house for sale here in Pensacola and I got a call. I'm talking to the young man. He goes, yeah. He goes, I'm really interested in it, blah, blah, blah. I said, hey, when you want to take a look? He says, I live in Seattle, Washington. I go, I'm going to be in Seattle in 2 weeks because I'm going on a cruise. So I just called him up. I said, all right, I'm going to send you videos. I'm going to do everything. We're going to go have breakfast. He bought the house sight
Wow,
unseen
nice.
because I went
Congratulations.
and had breakfast with him in Seattle, Washington. So yeah, that trip was a good tax write-off. But I think I love the way you present that to the relationships we form, the people we meet in our journey. And I think real estate is one of those professions that everybody always talks real estate. Do you find that when you're out
Yes, I
talking with
do. I do. I do. People love to talk about real estate.
people?
But I also think hopefully what people will take away from this is also the piece for realtors to maybe shift their thinking about contributing rather than complaining
Oh, yeah.
about they didn't do that, but then why don't you jump in and help in some way and put a little bit more skin in the game? And then, first of all, you might learn that you didn't understand the full picture and that there is a lot more information to all of that. But you also just might be able to make a difference at your local association by joining
Oh,
whatever, a DEI committee, or by joining membership committee, or by joining the events committee, or by joining professional standards. Oh, that's interesting. Do a stint or
yeah.
two on grievance. I have a grievance
Yeah.
tomorrow, Friday morning. Do a couple stints on the grievance committee.
And
Know
you
even
really
more how
know what
important
the
it is to
needs
get
are.
educated. Yeah.
Exactly. How can our group, anyone here that's listening, how can we support you and get in touch with you and tell me about your podcast so that we can get other ladies onto your podcast?
Sure. So my podcast is called Lifting Others as We Rise. And the intention of that podcast is to talk to realtors across the country. I've actually had some people out of the country as well, but not talk about real estate. To specifically talk about what were pivotal moments in their lives, in their journey. What kinds of inspirations really impacted them? What kind of mentors did they have? And what do those mentors share with them and help them through that have brought them to where they are today? And inevitably, we stick a toe into real estate because that's part of what has connected us. But I really continue to find actionable things that we try to pull out of every episode that maybe would be of a consideration for people like that day and the next day. So that's my podcast. It would be
Okay.
hard
And
to
where can
Google
we,
my name
where
and
can,
not find me because you
okay.
have no problem finding me. But Lisa
Yeah.
at lisasellscapecod.com is my website.
Okay.
And all of
And
the
is that where your podcasts appear too on the website,
you
or
will
do you
see
have a
it there.
website?
You'll see it there as well. Yep, you
Okay.
will.
Okay.
Um,
So we can go get some more information. And are you on Spotify and
I am.
everything?
It's on all of those places. It starts on YouTube because I also do video
Right.
first.
Yep. How
And
long you been doing your podcast?
probably a little about a year plus. I
Oh,
don't have that many episodes under my belt, probably maybe 25 plus.
okay.
Um,
Okay.
but I love it, and it's been very inspiring to meet with leaders from across the country. Typically, my avatar has been top producing luxury realtors, so I've had all kinds of interesting folks.
And then the way everybody has gotten to that
Yeah,
level too, how, because everybody's little journey takes very
yeah.
different paths.
It's rarely the first career.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Now, some of the younger people getting actually, I have a 21-year-old right now. I go, really? He's not even finished with college. He goes, oh yeah, no, I'm into this. I said, okay, let's figure out what to do. But man, does he have the social media down? He puts, this is like crazy. I know it's off topic for what we're talking, but he puts a social media post of me of going and posting a eviction notice on a door with TikTok, which I just walked from the driveway into the door. The doorbell was busted. So I picked the doorbell up, put it back on, 35,000 views. I go,
Wow.
what? This is ridiculous.
Wow.
And so he's got me doing all this stuff. It's fun though, because
Good for
he's got
you.
all this stuff going on. But so Lisa, I really want to thank you for joining us. And
Oh,
this
my
is
pleasure.
Cindy Tant with Sip Sell Repeat. And whether you're drinking your coffee or having a glass of wine. Oh, by the way, and once we finish this, I just want to let you know, I have a little coffee cup here for you.
Oh,
And
my.
it's the swag that I will be sending to you.
Thank you so
So
much.
I'll get your address and everything. And hopefully we can meet maybe maybe in Houston
In
if you're going to be
Houston,
in
absolutely. I'll be there before and through because we have all committee. We have all
committee.
of
Oh
our,
yeah, I know. All
yeah.
those committee before. I know. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
That's a wrap on this episode of Sip, Sell, Repeat. If you loved what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another powerhouse woman in real estate. Got a topic you want me to cover? Send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep sipping, keep selling, and keep repeating that cycle of success. Cheers to you and your next big deal.